There's something most men never realize until much later, if they realize it at all. Attraction doesn't begin with what you say, it begins with what you transmit. Before a woman processes your words, your logic, or your intentions, her body has already formed an opinion about you, and that judgment happens in silence. Most men believe connection is built through effort, saying the right things, showing interest, trying to impress. But the truth is far quieter and far more uncomfortable to hear. A woman feels you before she understands you. Your presence speaks before your mouth ever does. You can be confident on the surface and uncertain underneath. You can sound calm while your energy is restless. And she will sense it instantly, not because she's analyzing you, but because her nervous system is responding to yours. This is why some men leave a lasting impression without trying, while others say and do everything right and still feel invisible. The moment physical closeness enters the picture, even something as simple as a hug, the truth is revealed. There is no hiding in touch. Your inner state becomes communication. Your calm, your tension, your self-control, or your need all become felt in a single second. And once you understand this, everything about attraction changes, because it was never about trying harder. It was about becoming more grounded. Words are easy to control, touch is not. That's why physical connection reveals more truth than any conversation ever could. When you speak, you can choose your tone, filter your thoughts, and hide uncertainty behind confidence. But the moment you touch someone, especially in close proximity, your body tells the real story. Touch bypasses logic and goes straight to the nervous system. A woman doesn't need to think about how a hug feels. Her body already knows. It registers your tension or your calm, your hesitation or your certainty, your presence or your distraction. This happens instinctively, without conscious effort. This is why a hug can feel comforting from one man and uncomfortable from another, even if both look similar and say the same things. The difference isn't technique. It's emotional alignment. When your inner state matches your outward behavior, touch feels natural and safe. When there's mismatch, confidence in words, but doubt in energy, her body picks up on it immediately. Touch is honest because it carries your emotional truth. It communicates stability, self-control, and intention in ways language never can. And that's why it becomes such a powerful moment of connection or disconnection, depending entirely on who you are inside when it happens. Most men don't struggle with attraction because they lack confidence. They struggle because their actions don't match their inner state. A hug exposes that mismatch immediately. One of the most common mistakes men make is rushing the moment. They hug quickly, as if they're afraid to stay present for too long, and that urgency communicates nervousness rather than confidence. Another mistake is hesitation. A stiff or overly cautious hug signals uncertainty. Even if your intention is to be respectful, uncertainty feels unstable to the nervous system. On the other extreme, some men hold too tightly or linger too long, unconsciously seeking reassurance or validation. That clinging energy doesn't feel strong, it feels needy. The biggest mistake of all is treating the hug like a tactic. When a man hugs with the hope of getting a reaction, approval, or sign of attraction, his body gives him away. A woman can feel when touch is transactional instead of genuine. A grounded man doesn't rush, cling, or perform. He simply connects, and that difference is felt instantly, without a single word being exchanged. Many men believe attraction is about having the right look, the right body, or the right style, but physical appearance only opens the door. What determines whether a woman stays emotionally open is your presence. Emotional presence is the ability to be fully grounded in the moment without needing anything from her. A woman isn't responding to your muscles or your voice as much as she's responding to how stable you feel. When your energy is calm and composed, her body relaxes. When you're centered, she feels safe. And safety is not the opposite of attraction, it's the foundation of it. True masculine energy doesn't try to impress. It doesn't chase reactions or seek validation. It stands steady. That steadiness communicates confidence far more powerfully than effort ever could. This is why some men with average looks create deep attraction, while others with every external advantage struggle. Attraction grows where emotional presence exists, When a woman feels that you are comfortable with yourself, she becomes comfortable with you, and from that comfort, desire naturally begins to form. Attraction doesn't begin when your arms wrap around her. It begins moments earlier, before any physical contact is made. A woman senses your internal state through the way you approach, the way you stand, and the way you hold eye contact. Long before touch, your energy is already speaking. If your mind is scattered or focused on getting a reaction, that tension shows up in your body language. Your movements become slightly rushed, your posture tightens, and your breathing becomes shallow. She may not consciously notice these details, but her nervous system does. When a man is grounded, his presence feels steady. His movements are unforced. His eye contact is calm, not searching. His breathing is natural. These subtle cues signal emotional safety and self-control. They tell her that you are comfortable in the moment, not performing for approval. This is why preparation isn't physical, it's internal. When you slow down mentally, your body follows. And when your energy is calm before contact, the touch itself feels natural, welcomed, and aligned rather than sudden or intrusive. The way you initiate a hug sets the emotional tone for everything that follows. Most men either move too quickly or hesitate too long. Both create tension. A confident invitation is neither rushed nor uncertain. It's natural and unforced. When you open your arms, do it calmly and slowly, as if you're creating space rather than closing it. This communicates leadership without pressure. You're not pulling her in or claiming her space. You're inviting her into yours. That distinction matters more than most men realize. A woman responds to the feeling of choice. When she steps forward willingly, her body is already relaxed. There's no resistance because there was no force. Your posture should be upright but relaxed. Your shoulders open, your movement smooth and deliberate. This approach signals emotional maturity. It shows that you're comfortable with closeness, but not dependent on it. When a man can lead without rushing and offer connection without expectation, the moment feels safe, balanced, and emotionally aligned. One of the most powerful moments in a hug happens before the embrace fully settles. Most men miss it because they rush straight into contact, but a brief pause changes the entire emotional message. When she steps into your space, don't immediately tighten your arms. Allow a short, natural pause, just enough to feel her presence before deepening the connection. That moment of stillness communicates control, patience, and awareness. It tells her that you're not acting on impulse or need. This pause allows both nervous systems to adjust. It gives her body time to relax instead of brace. Subconsciously, she feels that you are attentive and grounded, not reactive. And that sense of emotional regulation is deeply reassuring. Confidence is often revealed in what you don't rush. A man who can slow down in moments of closeness shows that he's comfortable with intimacy. That comfort creates trust, and trust is what allows attraction to deepen without effort. When the hug settles, what matters most is not how long it lasts, but how it feels. A powerful hug carries calm strength. Your arms should feel secure without being restrictive, relaxed without being careless. This balance communicates self-control. Your breathing plays a silent but critical role. Slow, natural breaths signal emotional stability. When your breathing is steady, her body instinctively mirrors it. Her shoulders soften, her tension eases. Without realizing why, she begins to feel grounded in your presence. Your posture should remain upright yet comfortable. There's no need to lean, cling, or adjust repeatedly. Stillness is confidence. Excess movement often signals nervousness or uncertainty. A grounded man doesn't fidget, he holds space. Emotionally, your mindset should be neutral and present. You're not trying to get anything from the moment. You're simply sharing it. That absence of expectation is what makes the hug feel safe and genuine. In that stillness, her nervous system associates you with calm, and calm, when paired with strength, becomes deeply attractive. A woman's nervous system is constantly scanning for safety, especially in moments of closeness. Calm masculine energy provides that safety without needing to announce itself. It doesn't demand attention, approval, or reassurance. It simply is. When a man is emotionally regulated, his presence feels predictable and steady. This steadiness allows her body to relax. Her guard lowers not because she decided to trust, but because her nervous system felt no reason to defend. That's the power of calm strength. Safety doesn't weaken attraction, it deepens it. When a woman feels safe, she can allow herself to feel desire without anxiety. Calm masculine energy creates that permission. It tells her, on a subconscious level, that closeness won't cost her peace. This is why emotional composure is more magnetic than intensity. A man who can remain centered in intimacy communicates leadership and maturity, and that quiet authority is what makes his presence feel not only safe, but unforgettable. The placement of your hands during a hug communicates intention more clearly than words ever could. When your touch is deliberate and respectful, it signals self-awareness and emotional control. These qualities are felt immediately. Keeping one hand gently on her upper back provides grounding. It feels protective without being possessive. The other hand resting around the mid-back maintains closeness while respecting boundaries. There's no uncertainty, no wandering, and no tension in your grip. That clarity creates trust. A secure man understands his own strength. He doesn't need to test limits or push boundaries to feel confident. His restraint is part of his power. When a woman feels that you're fully aware of your physical presence and choosing to remain respectful, her body relaxes further. Boundaries don't reduce attraction, they enhance it. They show that closeness with you is safe, intentional, and guided by self-control rather than impulse. The way you end a hug is just as important as how you begin it. Many men undo a powerful moment by pulling away too quickly or lingering too long. Both send the wrong signal. A rushed exit suggests discomfort. Holding on too tightly suggests attachment. Neither feels balanced. A confident ending is slow and deliberate. You release your arms naturally, without hesitation, without urgency. This shows emotional control. It tells her that you're comfortable with closeness, but not dependent on it. That balance is rare and deeply attractive. As you step back, maintain soft, steady eye contact for a brief moment. Not intense, not searching, just present. That pause allows the emotional connection to register. It gives her nervous system time to process what just happened. Your posture should remain open and relaxed. No shrinking, no overcompensating with words. The calm way you exit the moment leaves an emotional echo. It makes her feel grounded, curious, and subtly aware that something about that hug felt different. After a meaningful hug, silence is not awkward. It's powerful. Most men rush to fill that quiet space because they feel exposed or uncertain, but that silence is where the emotional impact settles. When you speak too quickly, you interrupt the moment before it can fully register. Silence allows her emotions to catch up with the experience. Her body has felt something, and her mind needs a few seconds to process it. When you stay calm and present without reaching for words, you show confidence and emotional maturity. You're comfortable letting the moment breathe. This quiet space also creates contrast. The closeness grounded her, and the silence afterward invites reflection. She begins to feel curious, not because you did something dramatic, but because you didn't rush to explain or justify anything. A man who respects silence shows that he trusts his presence, and that trust makes the connection feel real, balanced, and memorable. What lingers after a meaningful moment isn't the action itself, but the emotional aftertaste it leaves behind. A woman may forget the exact details of a hug, but she will remember how her body felt in your presence. Calm, grounded energy creates an imprint that stays with her long after the moment ends. When a man is emotionally steady, her nervous system associates him with balance. That feeling doesn't fade quickly. It shows up later as curiosity, comfort, or an unexplained desire to be near him again. She may not consciously understand why, but her body remembers the sense of ease. This is why chasing reactions never works. Forced intensity creates pressure, not imprint. Genuine presence creates resonance. The memory isn't dramatic, it's subtle and deep. An emotional aftertaste built on calm confidence doesn't demand attention. It draws it naturally. And the more she associates you with peace and stability, the more she finds herself thinking about you without trying to. At the deepest level, attraction isn't created by what you do, it's created by who you are when you do it. A woman can sense when a man is whole, when his calm doesn't come from her reaction, but from his own inner stability. That wholeness is rare, and it's what makes presence feel powerful. A man who is internally complete doesn't need to prove himself. He doesn't chase validation or measure his worth through her response. His confidence is quiet because it's rooted in self-control, not outcome. And that self-sufficiency creates emotional gravity. When you hug from a place of wholeness, there's no hidden agenda. You're not trying to gain something. You're sharing something. That distinction changes everything. Her body feels the difference immediately. Wholeness creates safety, but it also creates polarity. It allows you to stand as an equal, not above her, not beneath her. And that balance is what makes a man deeply attractive, because his presence feels complete on its own. Before you think about the next interaction, take a moment to reflect. When you connect with someone, are you trying to be liked, or are you allowing yourself to be present? That question matters more than any technique or advice ever could. Most men move through moments of closeness unconsciously. They focus on outcomes, reactions, and signals instead of their own internal state. But awareness changes everything. When you become aware of your breathing, your posture, and your emotional steadiness, your presence naturally shifts. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about removing the noise, fear, urgency, the need for approval, and letting your natural, grounded energy come forward. That's when connection stops feeling forced and starts feeling real. A woman doesn't open up because you impressed her. She opens up because she felt safe enough to relax. And that safety begins with your awareness of yourself. Master that, and every interaction becomes calmer, deeper, and more meaningful without effort.